Hey everybody, this is Dr. William Clark here for Leadership Conversations. This is the show where we talk about leadership according to the world that matters to you. And I wanted to come on and share something with you. There are folks like me who are uh, they spend a lot of time thinking. I spend a lot of time thinking and strategizing, and it's a normal part of what I do on a day-to-day basis. It's a part of my function as a leader in a nonprofit space, as a pastor, as a small business owner, and it's a part of kind of my nature to just constantly think about things and strategize about things. But here's the problem with people like me who constantly strategize and think about things. We can get stuck and lost in the minutia of planning for tomorrow and planning for the next 3, 6, 9, 12, 24 months, and get lost in not necessarily getting closer to our goals. And this is called paralysis by analysis. That means you become paralyzed by the constant analysis of who, what, where, when, and why. When ultimately, by the time you finish thinking through the situation, it's 6 months, 12 months, 24 months later, and you've not gotten closer to your goal. Um, and what's interesting about sharing that with you is that today, when it comes to launching a new venture or new business, it is strongly suggested and recommended that the development of a formal business plan is not necessarily a contemporary strategy of today's time. Ultimately, we can spend time on a business plan and start to think this is a great product, and I'm going to think this thing through, get all the plans, make sure they're perfect, and spend as much time as I need to on it, and then get to a point where ultimately you finally launch, but it's months, if not years later, and by the time you launch, the product is no longer relevant. The market has not responded to it in a way that you would have preferred, and you've lost time as a result of taking that time to do that. And so a lot of strategists are saying the time of today, the .com world, of the Silicon Valley world, you create a product, launch it, get a reaction from the customer now, so that you know what the customer thinks, what they feel, what they want, what they don't want. You make the tweaks, put it back on the market, see if their response is much better, and it's an incremental increase of innovation and changes you make to your products. Ultimately, kind of ditching the business plan in favor of just launching a product and getting a reaction, tweaking it, making it better along the way, all the while generating revenue, getting a response, getting traction, getting exposure, etc. That's the antithesis of analysis by paralysis. And so this podcast is entitled "Getting to Sunday." Now, I'm utilizing that title because, on a personal note, I just launched a new campus for my church plant, and it's an exciting time for us. But it's been 2 years in the making, launching this additional campus, and life has happened. Things have gotten in the way that created delays that, quite frankly, are great excuses for why this campus wasn't launched at the time we planned it almost 2 years ago. But at the end of the day, um, I know me, and I know that if life didn't happen, it's possible I would have delayed this launch anyway, by way of my ongoing analysis, my ongoing paralysis, my ongoing uh, by me getting in the way of the whole process. And ultimately, when we decided to finally launch this third location, I'm not gonna lie. It still took me some time to get to where we are today. But it was a comment someone made to me. They were waiting for me to launch, and they said, "Hey, just get it up and running. We'll come." And it made a significant impression on me because I write about this stuff. I consult on this stuff. I teach on this stuff, and this is one of those examples where the teacher struggles with the application and implementation of what they teach. It's great in theory. But when it comes time for you to apply, sometimes it can be challenging. For me, it was challenging. So it was a big deal to get to launch Sunday. It was a big deal because whether people showed up or not, which they did, I was going to do something. I was going to preach to the empty chairs if I had to, and go hard and sweat to preaching to those chairs, whatever was going to be preached on that Sunday, because the idea for me. for someone who struggles with analysis by paralysis by analysis is to break that cycle is to actually do something and then come back next week and do it again and do it again and tell somebody you're doing it, which gets into the cycle of just getting to Sunday, which is just launching a product, tweaking it, putting it back out there, getting a response, etc. So I wanted to share some thoughts around what it took for me to get to Sunday. These are some simple things. Of course, you can get more complex as you evaluate the situation that you're trying to navigate through. But here are four things I thought about. So, number one, know what you want to accomplish. For me, what I wanted to accomplish was the launch of this third location. It's a part of this multi church strategy, multi location strategy that God has given me and my wife. And going along that journey and continuously planting is a part of what we want to accomplish. This leads me to number two. Since you know what you want to accomplish, develop a plan. What do you want to accomplish? What is the plan? What is the strategy? Everybody has a plan. And let me just say this plans, I know I just shared with you that business plans are almost antiquated, but you still need some sort of plan that you're following that's guiding you along the journey. And I will share this with you that there's a quote that says that everybody has a plan until they get hit in the mouth, and ultimately you're going to have a plan and you're going to get hit in the mouth by reality. The reality of what your customers say, what they want, what the marketplace dictates, your ability to get resources in place that you thought were much easier to grab, and you find out no, they're not. There are roadblocks that get in the way, other distractions, life happens. There's a lot of stuff that's going on. And so ultimately, your plan, it's needed. Just know that you're going to have to make some adjustments. So, know what you want to accomplish, develop a plan. Number three, get feedback. So you want to get feedback from your customers, yes. But on this podcast, we talk a lot about our pillars in our lives, pillars of people who have standing, people who know what you're going through, who have been what you've been through, who can provide perspective, sometimes relevant and irrelevant perspective to give you just a global view of what's going on, but get feedback. And then this is what was important for me. Number four, just go ahead and execute quickly. Do not get distracted by the what ifs and maybe or this could happen, etc. Just launch, just get out there, just do it. You will be rewarded by a number of things. The experience, number one, is cannot be replicated. The experience of launching, good, bad, or indifferent, just launching is just it's amazing. It's an amazing feeling. You're rewarded by the fact that you've overcome a hurdle, because now that we've launched this third location, we got to go back because people are going to be there waiting for the next service and the next service after that. So you're rewarded by the experience. You're rewarded by the reaction of the customer. You're rewarded by the fact that people now know or are going to find out that you have finally launched what was on your heart. For you watching, it may be your nonprofit you're launching. It may be your small business. It may be a new career field. It may be a new relationship that you're trying to get into. Whatever you're trying to launch, people are going to find out. And that's a reward in and of itself, because once people start to find out and then the right people find out, you start to get connected to the resources that can make a significant difference in your business, in your life, etc. So get to Sunday and just see what happens. You may learn that what you were trying to get to on Sunday may not be for you. And if that's what you learn, and if this journey was necessary for you to learn it, it's a wonderful lesson to learn, but embrace it. It's worth it. Just focus on Sunday. So take the time to share this podcast with somebody you really care about. Like us on Facebook, Instagram TV, Twitter, and YouTube. Share the links to this podcast wherever you're watching. And if you listen on a podcasting platform or prefer to or would like to as you're working out, as you're driving, etc., or as you're taking care of the kids, subscribe to this podcast on your favorite podcasting platform. And if you don't have one, download anchor.fm and find leadership conversations there with Dr. William Clark. And we'll be there on that platform. So give me some feedback. Talk to you guys soon. This is Dr. William Clark. See you in the next show.